You felt your phone buzz when it didn't. Walked into a room and forgotten your entire reason for being there. Fallen off an invisible cliff while lying perfectly still in bed. Said a word so many times it stopped being a word. Semantic satiation. Say the word bowl 20 times out loud. Go ahead. Actually do it. Bowl, 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 bowl. By the time you hit 15, bowl sounds like something an alien would say if it were pretending to be human and it didn't fully commit to the bit. Like it was generated by an AI that got fired halfway through the word. The word hasn't changed. Your brain just temporarily stopped loading the definition. This is called semantic satiation, and it's been studied since 1962. The mechanic is that every word you know is stored in a specific cluster of neurons. And when you fire the same cluster too many times in a row, those neurons fatigue out, which is impressive because they had exactly one job. Your brain's customer support department is currently unavailable. It works with written words, too. Stare at the long enough, and it starts looking like a fake alphabet someone invented during a fever dream. Your brain's looking at the like it was invented by someone who gave up halfway through. Your brain reconnects the word to its meaning within about a minute. But during that window, one of the most basic words in the English language looks deeply suspicious. And the only cure is to stop thinking about it and wait. Earworms. That song you heard once 3 days ago is still playing in your head on a loop, and you didn't press play. You don't even like the song. If anything, you actively hate it, which apparently makes your brain like it more. Your brain has appointed itself Spotify Premium, and there's no cancel subscription button. This is an earworm, technically called involuntary musical imagery, and over 90% of people experience one at least once a week. Your auditory cortex fires when you're just remembering music, the same hardware it uses to hear it for real. Right now, there's a non-zero chance you're hearing a chorus in your head as you watch this, and if I accidentally gave you one, I sincerely do not care. Earworms tend to show up when your brain is idling, walking somewhere, showering, lying awake at 1 a.m. The less your active attention is engaged, the more your brain reaches into its stored audio content and hits shuffle on one song. The closest thing to a cure is listening to the full song, because earworms tend to loop on incomplete fragments. Your brain's trying to finish a file it never properly closed. Hypnic jerks. You're lying peacefully in bed. You are 90% asleep. The universe is quiet and nothing is wrong. And then your entire body decides to violently throw itself off an invisible cliff. A cliff your brain invented, investigated, and then heroically saved you from. You jolt awake gasping, staring at a ceiling that has done absolutely nothing to deserve this. This is called a hypnic jerk. As your muscles relax toward sleep, your brain sometimes misinterprets the rapid loss of muscle tension as you actually falling. So it sends one massive emergency jolt to your entire body to catch you. Thanks, brain. Excellent work preventing a problem you personally created. The dream of falling that usually comes with it is your brain writing a cover story in real time to explain why your leg just launched your blanket across the room. Most people get these regularly, especially when overtired, stressed, or caffeinated at the wrong hour. There is no version of this that ever felt dignified. Nothing says apex predator like panic kicking your blanket at 2:07 a.m. The doorway effect. You walked into the kitchen for a reason. You have successfully loaded the kitchen. Objective failed. This is the doorway effect, and it's genuinely one of the most thoroughly researched dumb things your brain does. Psychologist Gabriel Radvansky at Notre Dame showed that your brain treats physical doorways as event boundaries, basically chapter breaks. Your brain auto-saved at the worst possible checkpoint. When you walk through one, your brain closes the mental file for the previous room and opens a fresh, empty one. Whatever you were holding in short-term memory got archived with the old room. That's why walking back usually brings the thought back. Your brain goes, all right, this room, charger, and the mission is back online. The really insulting part is this also happens in virtual environments. Walking through a doorway in a video game can trigger it, meaning your brain is somehow vulnerable to fictional doorways. Your brain doesn't care if the door is real. A door is a mental chapter break, and your brain treats all of them with the same aggressive filing system. Phantom vibration syndrome. Your phone is in your pocket. You're sure it buzzed. You pull it out, and the screen is completely blank. Not even a scam email. Nothing. In a study of nearly 3,000 students aged 10 to 14, roughly 59% reported feeling phantom phone signals regularly. Your brain learned phone against leg means notification. Now it auto-completes from any vague sensory input, a muscle twitch, a fabric fold. Your brain saw denim move 0.3 millimeters and said, this must be social validation. This is technically classified as a tactile hallucination, which feels like an unnecessarily serious diagnosis for pants lying to you, but that's the clinical label. You are hallucinating notifications. So is basically everyone you know. The human brain in 2026 is so adapted to phones that it would rather invent a vibration than risk missing one. Deja vu. You're in a place you've genuinely never been, having a conversation you've genuinely never had, and your brain is insisting with full confidence that this has all happened before. The lighting, the angle, the words, all of it drenched in familiarity that has absolutely no business being there. Your brain's now hallucinating memories too. Things are progressing nicely. About 2/3 of people experience this. It traces to a familiarity signal in your brain that occasionally fires without an actual memory behind it. Your brain is absolutely certain this happened before and absolutely unable to cite sources. Your brain stamps the moment as already experienced and then can't produce the receipt. Incredible confidence, zero documentation. Younger brains get it more than older ones because younger brains are more excitable. Your deja vu is technically your brain's familiarity system running ahead of its own paperwork. And the reverse version is arguably even weirder. Jameis view, where something deeply familiar suddenly feels completely foreign. You look at your own handwriting and the letters look like they belong to someone else. Same software bug, different flavor. The frequency illusion. You learn a new word on Monday. By Wednesday, you've heard it 4 times in completely unrelated conversations. By Friday, you're mildly convinced the universe is personally targeting you with vocabulary. This is called the frequency illusion, also known as the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, named after a German radical group because some guy in 1994 heard the name twice in one day and wrote a letter to a newspaper about it, which is either the most academic discovery ever or the beginning of a Seinfeld episode. The mechanic is a tag team between 2 cognitive biases. First, selective attention. Once your brain learns something new, it flags it as relevant and starts scanning for matches. Your brain sees 3 coincidences and immediately starts a conspiracy podcast. Second, confirmation bias. Every time you spot it again, your brain counts it as evidence that the thing is suddenly everywhere. The instances you miss get ignored. The hits feel like destiny. Nothing changed. The word was always at that frequency. Your brain just installed a filter with no off switch. This is also why the second you decide you want a specific pair of shoes, every 3rd person on the street's wearing them. Apparently, the main character was never you. It was the shoes. The Tetris effect. You've been playing a game for 3 hours. You close your eyes and you can still see the blocks falling. Your eyes are closed. The shift is over. Tetris disagrees. Or the tiles matching. Or the characters running. You open your eyes, look at a real wall, and your brain briefly tries to sort the blocks into rows. This is called the Tetris effect because researchers in the 1990s made people play for hours and observe their brains continuing to play during sleep. Same neural pathways, still firing. It works with anything repetitive enough. Scroll TikTok long enough, and when you close your eyes, you'll see the feed moving. Your brain forgot to clock out. It has temporarily confused something I was doing with something I should keep doing forever. The effect fades on its own. Your brain treated a hobby like a full-time job and forgot to leave the office. The part nobody mentions. Every single one of these glitches has been documented, named, studied, and published in a journal somewhere. Most of them have Wikipedia pages longer than your school essays. They happen to nearly everyone. They've been happening to humans for centuries, and nobody sits you down at 13 to tell you about any of them. So you experience the glitch, assume you're the only one, and quietly file it under, maybe something's wrong with me, which is unfortunate because literally millions of people are having the exact same malfunction right now. Your brain is a prediction engine running at full capacity in a body that hasn't finished being built yet. The prefrontal cortex, the part that handles the "Am I okay?" question, keeps developing into your mid-20s. The construction crew's on shift right now. The lights are on while they work. Some of them appear to be contractors. The fake buzzing is normal. The invisible cliff is normal. The word bowl stopping making sense for 60 seconds is normal. That's what brains do. Yours just happens to be doing it during the decade when nobody told you any of it had a name. If you've experienced all 8, congratulations. Your brain shipped with the full DLC pack. Drop a comment with which one you thought was just you, because statistically, most of them were happening to the person sitting next to you at the same time. If you recognized yourself in most of this, watch. If your child could be honest, they'd tell you these 10 things. It's the emotional version of this video, not brain glitches, the feelings teenagers have they can't say out loud. And once you hear them named, you won't be able to unhear them.